Welcome to Casey Cares, the voice of Kansas City nonprofits. We share the stories of local nonprofits and the individuals who drive them. We connect the nonprofit community and the business sectors to enhance the quality of life in Kansas City for both our residents and our visitors. This Casey Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. Did you know that getting kids involved in the performing and visual arts can do wonders for their development? Research shows that arts participation helps spark creativity, build fine motor skills, strengthen cognitive abilities, boost self-esteem, and support social emotional growth. That's why Kansas City Young Audiences is so passionate about making the arts accessible to all children and weaving them into everyday life. Through programs like their Community School of the Arts, in-school and community initiatives, and Kansas City Arts Partners, Kansas City Young Audiences is truly making a difference right here in our community. Today, we're excited to welcome Julie Warm. She is the Interim Executive Director, and Carmen Eppright, Director of Arts Education. And we'll dive into the amazing work Kansas City Young Audiences is doing and why the arts matter so much to our kids. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you, Ruth. You've summarized it so beautifully about what we are about. It's kind of like, where do we go from here? You've already...
Oh, we have much to talk about, Julie. Don't you worry. Don't you worry at all. Well, first of all, I gave a description of what you do. I want to hear what you tell people when you say, I work for Kansas City Young Audiences.
I think what we do is that we want to inspire every child, regardless of their background, their socioeconomic status, their access to the arts, to be an art patron as they grow up. And there are so many reasons for that, which you beautifully articulated.
Let's dive in a little bit, if you can share the history of Kansas City Young Audiences. You've been around the block for just a bit of time, and really what was the motivation behind getting this organization going?
Carmen, I'm going to throw that to you. Do you know more about the history? I know we're a 60-year-old organization, but do you know the origin story?
Yes, I do. And I'd be happy to share that with all of you this morning. And thank you for having us today, Ruth. So Kansas City Young Audiences is the Kansas City affiliate of a much larger network throughout the United States. It's called Young Audiences Arts for Learning, and it's the oldest and largest arts education network with over 38 affiliates throughout the country, serving over 5 million students each year. So we're just a little portion of this great network. But we've been around for 64 years this year. And in these 64 years, Kansas City Young Audiences has served over 6 million students.
Wow.
This past year, we've served almost 50,000 students in several school districts, libraries, community centers all over Kansas and Missouri. And as you said, we have our Community School of the Arts, which is our amazing facility, Midtown here in Kansas City, where we provide after school, weekend arts education classes, summer camps, spring break camps, theatrical productions, you name it. And so we strongly believe that over 6 million students receiving arts education is a great legacy and also a great responsibility, especially through this transition and moving the organization forward.
Well, Carmen, I want to talk a little bit about each of those. It sounds like you're the expert in that area, but I also do want to talk globally about the organization. I did not realize that you were an affiliate of a much broader network. How are you able to pull from or benefit from being part of a larger network across the country?
So we, if you Google Young Audiences Arts for Learning, you see exactly how many affiliates, the network that we have. We have national conferences every 2 years. I was fortunate enough to go, was it last year, to Chicago, where we had professional development. We met with other administrators and other teaching artists from all over the country to share best practices, experiences. All the executive directors have their own little retreat leading into the conference the day before, which I've heard it's a fantastic opportunity for executive directors, especially these days. And we share resources. We have forums, calls, etc. We have a race initiative, which is and teaching artist training, multi-year training. If you're part of the affiliate, you can have your teaching artists be part of professional development, etc. So it's and also the networking and the resources and the funding that comes through that as well. So it's a great network to be a part of.
Ruth?
I do want to talk about funding. But before we go there, I want to stay with the cultural, what I call the more fun stuff. You've got three main parts, it sounds, to the organization. How do you do this? I mean, these are big, robust things that you're doing. So, Julie, how does the organization itself work?
Well, we first of all have the classes and the camps, and those are within our building. And so we have a robust schedule of camps, and I can talk in more detail about that. We have classes in the summer, in the spring, and summer, fall, spring. Let's go sequentially in the evening for students. And those can be anything from voice to dance and theater to working with fiber. I mean, we cover dance, visual arts, voice, what dramatic arts. I mean, I think I've got all the categories. I said visual, so fiber, I guess that's a visual art. And so we do the whole thing. And then what Carmen does is that she puts out programs to the schools. And so she organizes these teaching artists to go out into the schools, and they do anything from school assemblies to before and after school programs, mostly after school programs, to where we will make sure that all fifth graders in a school district have access to lyric performance. And so that's our way of making sure that all kids, regardless of their own parental commitment to the arts, has some access to the arts. Carmen, would you like to wait,
I was going to say Carmen.
Yeah.
Please add, and then I wanted to find out how you connect them with the schools, if they come to you, or how does that work?
Yeah. So with the Community School of the Arts, the thing that makes us unique, I want to say, Community School of the Arts is everything that happens here, all those classes and camps that Julie described. We are not a competitive studio. We're here to really support each child be the best version of what they can be through the arts and gain that confidence and be part of that community. Well, that's why we call it Community School of the Arts, because it's truly a community-based initiative. And because we're so committed to have every single child experience arts, because we know what it does for them, we also offer scholarships to those kids so that they can come and receive classes or camps, etc. And so that's everything that happens here, that we have amazing dedicated staff that oversee those programs on a day-to-day basis. And what I do is school and community programs, which takes our teaching artists out to our schools and community centers and libraries to provide workshops and performances. So what we do when we go to schools, it's what it's called arts integration. So we go and we reinforce or we enhance the school content through our programming. So I'll give you some examples so it's a little bit more down to earth. So we have Harlan Brownlee, for example, moving through math with dance. So for your second grader that's like struggling a little bit with math and it's really a kinesthetic learner, maybe creating numerical shapes with his body and other students would help him, get engaged with that content and reinforce that content. Or we have Dino Odell, Out of This World, Outer Space. So with music and songs and animation, students learn about the Earth, the universe, the solar system. Or construction physics, Paige Elenius. A lot of people know Paige, Miss Paige. She lets them be engineers for a day. So today we're going to build skyscrapers or roller coasters, and we're going to explore velocity or friction or, physics, principles of physics through a project-based activity, as a team. Or something that's so important, social emotional learning these days. We have Kim Radcliffe. She does, what's her name? Once Upon a Feeling. So for the little ones, they start describing the feelings of the characters of the book they're reading or their own feelings, and that it's okay to have feelings. We have Mr. Stinky Feet. We all know him. We have Leslie. We have Dino Odell. We have all these amazing teaching artists that have been doing these programs for so long and have updated and tweaked their programs to match, the interests and the methods of learning of students these days. But we don't do it alone. We cannot do it alone. So when Julie was talking about partnerships with entire school districts, like for example, Kansas City, Kansas public schools, we are only a portion of those programs that we give to that school district. We partner with, that's why it's called Arts Partners. We partner with 13 other local arts nonprofits. So the KC Symphony, the Lyric Opera, the Coterie Theater, Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey. And so we build entire packages for school districts to make sure that, and the school district chooses which experiences based on their goals, curriculum, etc. Some want more out of school activities, so they go a lot to Theater for Young America, which is great, or the Coterie. Some still want more in school or a little bit of both. And so we customize what we call the Arts Partners Plan to what the district needs and or wants. And that's how we are able to reach entire school districts. We also have a very robust partnership with LINK, which is the Local Investment Commission. It's a nonprofit that several school districts outsource for their before and after school care. And so we are fortunate enough to go to schools within the Kansas City Public School District boundaries, Hickman Mills, North Kansas City, Grandview, to serve these students during the after school hours when they're the most vulnerable and still provide them meaningful arts education experiences.
You have a big job. You must have huge spreadsheets or things on the wall to figure out who's on first, what's on second. Do school districts reach out to you, or has this been a reach from your end to school districts?
Well, so we've been here for 64 years. So truthfully,
it's been in place for a long time.
It's been in place for a long time. We, of course, always want to cultivate more school districts, and we're working hard to do that because this leads us again to funding, because of the funding cuts and also schools being very protective of their instructional time.
Right.
Perhaps not knowing that arts education experiences are going to bridge that gap between the academic performance of students and, where they want to be. Because as we all know, and as you very well said, arts education enhances academic performance, boosts graduation rates, even college rates after controlling for SES, and all those things that we really need to advocate more in order to convince more schools and administrators to let us in and let their students experience the arts.
We're talking I'm going to reintroduce you. We're talking all things Kansas City Young Audiences with Julie Warm. She's the interim executive director, and Carmen Eppright, who is the director of the arts education part of this. Julie, please, I interrupted you. Feel free.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. Carmen left off one part of her job, which is the teacher training.
Oh, the Kennedy Center?
Yes. Do you want to speak about that too?
So, sure.
We do it all. Carmen does it all.
I just do the fun stuff. So we are also part of the Kennedy Center Partners in Education. So the Kennedy Center in DC has, again, a conglomerate of organizations throughout the country that provide professional development for school teachers so that they can incorporate the arts into their curriculum. This is for your math teacher or for your ELA second grade teacher. This is not for your musician or your visual arts teacher.
Okay.
And so what we do, so our partnership here is unique because it's a bi-state partnership. It's the Kansas, Missouri Partners in Education. So we do two things, and the only reason why we can keep doing this is because of generous funders like the Missouri Arts Council and the Whole Family Foundation, and now even individual funders that want to fund this partnership. So we do two things. Throughout the school year, we schedule professional development sessions for school districts so that we will go to the schools and work with the teachers and even sometimes the students to infuse the arts into their curriculum. So how can an English teacher teach English through drama, or how teaching social studies through hip hop, things like that. Visual arts as well, same visual arts, dance, theater, and music, which is arts integration. We do that throughout the school year. We provide 5 or 6 live professional development sessions with facilitators that we bring from all over the country. And we also have an annual arts integration symposium, which is a 2-day deep dive professional development where school teachers from all over Kansas and Missouri, urban, suburban, rural teachers come and learn from these same artists on how to integrate arts into the curriculum. Again, we don't do this alone. We're 4 partners: the Liberty School District, the Shawnee Mission School District, the Midwest Trust Center at JCCC, and Kansas City Young Audiences. So we are also teaching the teachers, and that the ripple effect of them teaching the students. And so I don't know how many thousand students we would reach with that, but we are very passionate about it.
Julie, these are interesting times, as Carmen has mentioned funding a number of times. How all are you navigating these changing winds for art support?
It's difficult. The pressure is really, we have not relied on federal dollars. And so that is both a cursing and a blessing, but our funders are realizing much more pressure for their resources. And so it's tough. My heart goes out to our generous funders trying to make tough decisions.
How are you able to convince them that this is where the buck stops, or they, keep the flow going?
Oh, I think the mission speaks for itself, is that there are many avenues for arts education in town, and those are all great and worthwhile and are unique and wonderful. But what makes us different is our systemic approach to making sure that every child has access to the arts.
What's it like to be an interim director in these kind of times? Here you step into an organization at a time of transition.
It is the best job in the world. It is truly wonderful. It takes it takes a certain personality and a skill set, but with a lot of listening, it's wonderful. You feel it's a great job. You make a difference, and you feel like you make a difference immediately.
How is it to work with staff? I always wondered, as you step in and you're not the long-term boss, but you're still the boss driving the train down the track. How have you found navigating that?
Nope. I I haven't sensed any problem. I think that Carmen and the rest of the staff have embraced me. I feel like they're my family now. This is my second interim job, and I feel like the first one, if someone told me it was a little bit like fostering an animal, but I think it's more like fostering a child. You watch it, you nurture and watch it grow, and then you release it out to their forever family when they hired their executive director. But it's really hard to separate because you're so attached and in love with what they do and the people involved.
Carmen, from your perspective, I know it's tough when you've got Julie sitting right here, so I appreciate that.
Oh, no, it's all good.
But I think it's an interesting thing for our audience of nonprofits because there's a number of organizations that go through this kind of a transition. So from the full-time staff the other way, how do you see, navigating or being part of this kind of a situation as you continue to grow?
Well, as I learned today that one of our school districts is also having a huge staff turnover and people just changing jobs, etc. It's the same thing here at nonprofits. You also see a lot of staff turnover. And so I have worked with a lot of people in this past 2 years. It seems like more based on the amount of people that I've worked with. But it's sad to see them go for several reasons, right? But you learn from all of them. But I do need to say it out loud. We have the best team that I've worked with here at KCYA. And it's not just me saying this, it's my other couple coworkers that have been here for 4 years. We have people who really truly care about the mission of the organization and understand the value of the arts and what it does to your brain, to your heart, to your friendships, to your abilities. So we truly we're here to see this organization continue moving forward and keep growing and innovating. And it's hard because it's been here for 64 years. And so how do we keep it relevant? How do we tell the community we're still here? What do you need from us? How can we serve you better? And at the same time facing all these internal challenges, external challenges in this really crazy world. But if I have to say something, is that the reason why we're all here is because arts education teaches you what people call the 4 C's, which you mentioned: the critical thinking skills, collaboration, communication, and creativity. And those are the skills that Julie in her next interim ED job is going to look for when she hires people. And especially now with AI and technology, how do we create innovators, problem solvers, people who can work as part of a team, who can express themselves and communicate verbally and non-verbally. All those skills are what art experiences gives you. And that's why we're so passionate that every single student has access to them.
Well, in full disclosure to our audience, I'm an arts type person. So I'm going to support the arts. But for the person out there, I mean, we've talked about the benefits. How do you really sell, let's say, that parent from an inner city school, that bringing Johnny or Jane to a drama class or a fiber class really is worth the time, effort, and money to do that?
So I have some quotes from some campers from this.
Oh, that's lovely.
Fresh out of the oven for you. So, for example, little 11-year-old camper said, KCYA is a place where I get to be myself. I don't know if school is a place where she gets to be herself. I don't know if home is a place where she gets to be herself. This is a quote from a parent from this week. My child has grown in confidence and pride. So to your point, I think parents would immediately notice the changes in their students' mood, behavior, confidence. And for school principals that want to also, say, like, why am I going to bring Jay and Leslie to my school today? What's the benefit? We do have comprehensive program evaluation surveys, and we we track, we ask teachers and administrators, has this, not only if the program met their expectations, is it related to the curriculum, yes or no? Were the students engaged in the creative process, yes or no? Did you experience, that were your students experiencing critical thinking skills and collaboration skills? How can we make this better? Tell us a student success story. So we track those quantitatively and qualitatively. But I think parents, from the parenting side, it's a little bit more empirical. They would notice immediately that the students are happier, that they feel part of a community, that they are accepted, and they feel a sense of belonging, and they can put on a show like we're doing Frozen this Saturday, and they can stand up on that stage, which is really hard to do, by the way, with confidence and have a sense of pride at the end. So it's a little bit of everything. It's the hard data, and it's the, the softer side of the data. But I think it's just obvious.
It's got to be fun, Julie, to walk around the building and see these kiddos.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. And not only that, but we also rent not during the summer, but during the spring and fall, we rent some of our space to the Owens Cox dance group.
Oh.
And so I see professional dancers come in, and every now and then the opera will rent a room for a rehearsal, and I hear the opera singers. It's amazing.
I think you need a community school for the arts for us adults.
Well, we have it's been discussed.
It works.
Because we don't need to compete necessarily. We just want to come and have fun, right?
Yeah. And our creativity lab is just a wonderland. You can just get lost in there.
Julie, does anything keep you up at night in running the organization? The things that make you go, I just can't sleep because I'm thinking about.
Oh, yeah. It's mostly how to do too much with too little, to meet the need with too little, to figure out how to serve the students that we desperately want to serve with not enough resources, trying to make it reach.
Is there a role for volunteers to help you?
Carmen, I can't, yes, we have volunteers, but not as many organizations. Because when we put people in touch with children, we do extensive background checks and all that stuff. So I know we have volunteers, but it's fairly limited. Is that, mostly like maybe working at a outreach booth at the farmer's market, that kind of a thing. But can you think of anything else?
Yeah, sometimes we have our own parents be volunteers for like the dance performances, etc., to be there in the green rooms, helping the kids with their costumes, etc. Those kind of things, but it's more like an internal volunteer.
Gotcha.
We use our parents. Yeah.
Where's the best place for people to go to find out more information about you all? Your website?
I would call just the main line. It's a small, intimate organization, and we'd be happy to get you going. The number is 816-531-4022.
Well, and for those nerds who do like websites, sorry, didn't mean to call you out. Their website is kcya.org. Carmen and Julie, thank you so much for spending this time with us and telling us more about what you're doing. And, thank you for reaching out to our kiddos, because, boy, they need a touch in every way possible, don't they?
Yes, they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you for joining us for KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're produced by a nonprofit called Charitable Communications. This KC Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. Now, if you'd like to be a guest on KC Cares,
Check out our website, which is kccaresonline.org, and spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio. And on Instagram, it's at KC Cares Online. And don't forget, you can catch us Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 a.m. and 94.5 FM. Thank you for joining us on KC